pretty tragic. Ruby killed herself, but as I said, I'm not happy with that outcome. I'm not happy how it relied on one skill check of rhetoric out of all of the skills in the game that we've got to successfully talk her down or not. You couldn't use any other way. So what I want to do is I want to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 skill points. I'm willing to put 3 in, and if 3's not enough, then she's gonna have to die. Yeah, because we had one, so I'll put rhetoric at 4. Done. Right. Now equipment. So I've already got rhetoric -1 from something. My hat. I need to change my hat, and I need to put on some more rhetoric gear, which I don't think there's many, to be honest. There's one. So a hat. Do I have any other hats? Fallon hat. Right. We also have a check to... What was it? Pain threshold. That's a windbreaker. Fuck, we look like such a legend. But I think that's going to have to do. My shoes have got perception on them. I don't think I've got any other shoes apart from my green leathers. Right, let's give this a shot. So. Oh, we need to do this again, don't we? It's only picking up a couple of things. Let's see if we can save this Ruby girl. I'll go through the whole thing again. And I want to, and I've noticed as well from last time is if as soon as we pick to knock that generator over, we can't ask it any more questions, so we'll have to go through the whole thing again. There we go. I've also got the sound off because that noise is the worst noise I've ever heard. Suddenly your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull, a strange pain like you've never felt before. Through the static you hear a woman's voice. It's like 1,000 radio stations are being blasted into your head all at once, but her words are the only ones you can make out.
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or fight it. That'll just make it worse.
Okay.
Can't say it's a pleasure, officer. I was really hoping not to make your acquaintance. But here we are.
The voice coming through the whirlwind of pain is not malicious. She doesn't want to hurt you, but she has to. Doesn't wish to hurt you, not according to your ear canals. Wait, no, not even your ear canals. This is going to directly into your neural pathways. Well, last time I didn't cover them, so I'll do that. And then I healed up. Done. That's an awful decision. Why would you not want to shield yourself from it? It's an entirely new type of experience, way worse than all previous ones. Don't focus on the pain, focus on doing your job. Tell her she's under arrest. You're under arrest.
Really now? Check this out.
Oh, you fucking bitch. You're overwhelmed with a new surge of violent static. It feels like a blood vessel exploded in your brain. What's happening to me?
I'm using a pale latitude compressor. You and your partner have been caught in its field.
The explosion of static you're hearing, it's the Ulan frequency. Blasted from the pale emitter Fat Angus mentioned. I saw your equations, it's the Ulan frequency.
Saw my equations? You've been sniffing through my lorry, right? I expected as much. Though I am a bit surprised you knew what you were looking at.
You should probably check on Kim. Yeah, that's right. Alright, mate.
Right behind you, officer.
The torment Lieutenant Kitsuragi is experiencing is worse than your own, but he's slowly beginning to recover.
A pale latitude compressor is used to sort of make the pale more manageable. With a lot of these, you can force a radio signal grid on the pale. Literally crunch the distance across it. Signals are relayed across a series of repeater stations fixed to buoys. Not a fun job manning those stations. All alone out there in the Pale. People lose their minds in just a few years.
So, what we are experiencing is a concentration of radio waves.
Precisely. This is an industrial strength paraboloid. It's meant for forcing dimensions on something that doesn't have them. Needless to say, the frequencies used are out of this world. At the upper limit is the large prime number generator station. It's used specifically for pale latitude compression. That's why you might be hearing some numbers. But you might also hear, or think you're hearing, local radio chatter.
She's been holed up here for a while with no one to talk to. Keep her talking and you might just get an opportunity to break loose. How did you get your hands on this thing?
I built it myself.
That's illegal. I'm guessing it's patented. But we are beyond that, aren't we?
Oh yeah, way beyond.
Will I stay like this forever?
No. Once I shut down the compressor, the pain will end. It may take a few minutes for you to steady yourself, though. It's a bit like walking out of a very confusing dream.
Have you experienced the compressor yourself?
Yeah, I stuck my head in there before using it on you. Seemed like the ethical thing to do. Can't say that I enjoyed it. The field was weaker, but I can imagine what you're going through.
It's all great, but let's talk about the man who was killed.
Yeah, let's not talk about that shit. You were hunting me and fell into my trap instead. That's all there is to say about it.
So she thinks of you as hunters, not cops, and of herself as merely prey. Please could you just turn it down so I can ask you something?
If you've got something really important to say, you can do it through the white noise.
Damn this!
God damn it! Fine. If you really want to talk, I can dial it down. I've also got a gun, by the way.
The gun she's carrying is 2-barreled front loader, not like the murder weapon. It doesn't feel much better, but you can form sentences now. Thinking doesn't seem to hurt as much. Just keep her talking and you'll get through this. How did you know we were coming? I heard you in the passages and I've been preparing for quite a while. By hiding bullets under floorboards. So you found my shack, huh? I'm not surprised. Her tone is bitter. She thinks she's been betrayed. She didn't rat you out, by the way. Isabel, the washerwoman. So nice. She smiles a little smile. That's one knife I didn't want to find in my back. As opposed to the other knives she's finding there now, hardy for one. Preparing for the worst? I was, before I caught you in the pale latitude compressor. I'm fine now. That's her admitting the bullet was an emergency exit. It was dark in the shack. The waves outside had calmed down. She looked at the loaded gun, then cracked the barrel open and took the bullet out. Not today. Did you shoot Lely? No, I didn't do it. I only helped stage the lynching, though I doubt that makes much of a difference to you. Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? No, she hesitates. He wouldn't have broken first. You're right. Class Jav was the worst. Was the first to share her suspicions. Oh, she smiles sadly. I knew the kitten had claws, but not like this. But she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How did you find me? Titus told me. It took some convincing. Was it though? Yeah, your first guess wasn't entirely off. Titus and his boys, Mom, they told us you were on the coast. Even now, Kim is a paragon of professionalism. He's trying to make a clean cut telling her she was betrayed. She pauses, taking it in. Well, fuck, and those guys like me. I know it. If this is what happens to people whom people like. A dull despair is creeping into her voice. How the fuck did the rest of you get by? Wait, wasn't it you who called me the human can opener? It's not personal. I opened them up. I did, didn't I? And now you come for me, she scoffs. But fuck them all the same. That did make her forgive them a little. I did it by asking questions and I have some for you. Like what? I already told you I didn't do it. A strong moral compass. She still wants the opportunity to make a case for herself. Would you say that Lily was a likeable person? I didn't like him. Hardened mercenaries aren't particularly likable types. You don't feel sympathy for mercs. It's hard work. Plenty of broken people who don't come with that kind of body count. Besides, they're paid well for what they do. Do you feel protective of the Union? Yeah, sure. And I didn't like Wild Pine sending in those foreign hirelings. Me and a fuck ton of other people around here. She didn't hate him, okay? Other questions. Do you have an alibi for when Lily was shot? I was with the boys the whole night. I hope at least they did bother to impress that upon you. There were 10 minutes they couldn't account for. They did say you left to take a really long leak 15 minutes. There was half an hour missing. You went out. Like fuck I did. I was in all the time. I went for a leak 10 minutes max. Our investigation has shown that 15 minutes was just enough time to commit the murder. Wow. Now I'm curious. Please explain. There's a secret way from the first floor of the Whirling Rags to the roof. Don't know it, but also, she frowns, studying your face. The shot couldn't have come from the roof, or we would have all heard it downstairs. She has a point there, no one mentioned. The pain stops him from finishing the sentence. That didn't go super well. You've got to say something, lay something better on her. You have a gun. And, where did you get it? The gun store. What gun store? Trigger Happy Jacks. That doesn't sound like the name of a real store. What did you think? I'm going to squeal my gun supplier. Sorry, I'm not that kind of gal. I say it's a front loader. Do you have another gun somewhere? Sure I don't. A breech loader? No. I can't quite tell what kind of gun is it. A Nashway 80 front loader, 2-barreled. Not really what you were looking for, I'm guessing. That isn't it. Do you collect guns? Maybe old rifles? No, they're not practical. Break too often. A doubt creeps over you. She sounds not so sure of everything, so not guilty. There's other evidence I want to ask you about. Do you like to hang out on rooftops? Who doesn't? Oh, you probably mean Clash's rooftop. Sure, I hang out there. She's got this great antenna. Is that the only reason you were there? The view's pretty bomb too, but you might say the antenna was the main attraction. Yeah, along with Clash's. What? What's so great about the antenna? It's very powerful. I used it to tune into RCM frequencies. That's how I knew to be prepared for your arrival. So you're sure you didn't shoot the Merc on the roof? Yes, I'm sure. And anyway, as I said before, the shot had to come from afar. Did you leave any flowers for Clash on the roof? No gifts of flowers, and candy aren't really my style. They weren't just flowers, they were symbols of revolution. So now I'm leaving revolutionary symbols around, come on. But Clashja was mourning. I never did understand why, when someone dies, a hot house's worth of flowers has to die too. Okay, so you didn't leave Maybells. No, I didn't. You're running drugs for the Union. I've been through your lorry. She shakes her head slowly. So Heart of Gold Tommy fucked me over too. Never trust a musician. That really comes as a blow to her. No, he didn't. I found my own way in. Lie. Okay, great. You got into my lorry on your own. What now? You're going to arrest me for drug trafficking? A bitter smile. Beneath it, she's relieved Tommy didn't betray her. You had a financial incentive to kill the Merc. You're a criminal. I can't trust anything you say. She scoffs. That's your prerogative. You had a financial incentive to kill the Merc. Man, it's to get away from all that murderous shit that I left Jamrock, my previous employer, for the Union. The lieutenant is unable to articulate his question. She deliberately avoided naming the mob she worked for. You might be able to find this out later. She turns the knob down just a millimeter, then continues. I got lucky being a dispatcher. Never had to do any of the really dirty work myself. This gun, she glances at it, has only been used for self-defense against serious scum. There. It's going to be easier to reach the machine now. But you're threatening us with it. Based on what I've heard about you, you are serious scum, she responds, holding your gaze. There's a sinister note in her voice. Even when with the gun and the compressor, she's afraid of you. Take a step back. Wait. More questions before doing anything. Who killed the merc if it wasn't you? How should I know? As I keep saying, he already had a bullet in his head when I got to him, and there hasn't been any useful gossip over the radio. Those rings around her eyes, her tired voice. She's been staying up late listening in on the conversations crisscrossing Martinez. Police radio, you've got to be following the case. Who hasn't? She shrugs. You know, I can still see him there, in Clash's room, lying on his side. He was still warm, but the bluish light coming through the broken window made him look as though he'd been dead for a good long while. Clasher didn't want to turn the lamp on. She was afraid of another shot. What happened Sunday night? Tell me your version. She eyes you warily, as though gauging your sincerity. It's okay, we just want to... He struggles to finish the sentence. Alright, don't kill yourself over it. I was shooting the shit with Hardy and the boys over a few beers, like always, then Clasher comes in, all pale and shuddering. She sits down with a drink, trying to steady her nerves, so I grab a seat next to her. Wait, did she also seem high to you? Yeah, super high, but I didn't think too much of it at first. I'd seen her pretty hard before. This woman has seen people OD. Clasher wasn't quite there yet, so why worry? She said you knew something was wrong immediately. No, I really didn't. She's not that easy to read. I just assumed she'd done too much blow. It wouldn't be a first for her, but no such luck. She was in some deep shit. She asked me to come upstairs. The merc she'd been going with was lying on the bedroom floor dead. I knew she couldn't get the authorities involved, so yeah. You made it look like he'd been hanged. How did you manage to come up with that plan so quickly? What? No. Faking a lynching was her idea. She looked shaken. She wasn't surprised to be ratted out, but framed. Her idea. Yeah, in cold blood. It really surprised me how quickly she was able to get a hold of herself once we got up there. It was like she was another person. The party girl was gone. She asked me to help her drag him into the shower so she could wind the shower head around his neck to fake lividity. Then she dressed him while I went to get the Hardy boys. Showerhead, resourceful. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether to admire her or be disturbed. Do you think she killed him herself? As I keep telling you, cops, we didn't hear anything downstairs, no gunshot, nothing. But even if this is true, the lieutenant forces himself to finish his sentence. Weren't you worried this lynching might lead to war? She purses her lips. The thought crossed my mind, but the mercenary's death was going to have repercussions either way, although the way things are going. She shrugs. Fuck it. I'm not responsible for these people after what they did to me. Her grip on the gun is tight, her arms toned, her posture solid. Martinez lost a valuable defender. If you didn't kill him, why hide? I saw you roll into town. I wasn't about to stick around for questioning by a goddamn La Puta Madre agent. The strange distant fear is getting close now. It's a fear of yourself. What do you mean, La Puta Madre agent? She looks at you quizzically. Yes, you. Everyone says you're his peon, his human can opener. Shit. Through the sudden sharp pain in your head, you hear the lieutenant mumble something to himself. Fucking hell, and why me? You hear through the white noise. It's especially bad suddenly. Felt like a vein exploded. Who's everyone? How do you know this? Bullshit. You're trying to throw me off. No one says that. Yeah, who's everyone? How do you know this? Everyone in Jamrock. The cops, the criminals. Why do you think I'm holed up here with a goddamn death ray waiting for you? If she knows that about you, she must know your real name too. Tell me, what's my name? If you know about me, you must know my name. Fuck yeah. La Puta Madre. I've heard of that. He's dangerous, right? Is that a joke or a threat? I'm guessing both. No, that was a real question. Yeah, sure. I'm sure La Puta Madre himself will explain all that soon enough. What did you do to this Madre anyway? You've been to my lorry. You think the biggest player in Jamrock appreciates competition? She pauses. And now I have Harry can opener on my lay. Fucking Titus. She's not going to change her mind that easily. She still perceives you as a threat. Wait, one more thing, possibly small, but she said you rolled into town. What was you, singular or plural? She might know something. When I came into town, was there, what? There should be a comma there. When I came into town, was there anyone with me? Yeah, you had your death squad with you. What happened to them anyway? Who was in this squad? Well, it wasn't this scrawny dude. She nods towards the lieutenant. You had two guys and a lady. The guys looked pretty buff. The lady wasn't bad either. I wonder if that's the people that are stood in the whirling in rags entrance. Although there's only one guy and one girl. What else can you tell me? One of the guys seemed chipper, blonde. The other had a brooding something or other about him. And the woman was the only one in uniform all were carrying. She narrows her eyes. That sound about right? Satellite officer Vicumer looks out of the window grimly, then puts his coffee down and turns to Patrol Officer Mignon. We can either take a room here in the Whirling or go home for today. Let's go home, Jean. Nothing going to happen today, she responds quietly. Jean takes the blonde wig off. Call Hiedelstam. He can give us a ride. I think I know them. They're in Martinez. Friction lock set. Fantastic. I've got to get on the road. Then you can go find your friends, unless you have anything pressing to ask me. Do you know about the bunker next door? What bunker? Just a bunker, have you been there? The communist hideout back there. Don't know anything about it. No one's been around since I set up camp, but I'm sure I'm not the first vagabond too. Her voice trails off white noise in your head. It feels like an aneurysm approaching. Fuck me. So what we can do is we could just let her go. I didn't realise that was an option, but I want to destroy the compressor. Do it. But we're going to have to pass the rhetoric check. Do it. So it's all making sense now. We could have had an alternative route if I'd just done that, but I was adamant on using pain threshold. Because I'm a brute. You did it. The compressor lies broken on its side. It's quite in your head again. It still hurts like hell, but... I want to say you're under arrest. She looks at the machine, assessing the damage. Her hand trembles. Ah, fuck it. She puts the barrel of the gun into her mouth. Right then. We're going to have to do this. It might fail, it might not. I want to take the consequences. Oh, we did it. Good. She's truly desperate. She thinks she has no other options. You need to give her options. What options? You know. Maybe I can still talk her out of it. This is how you talk her out of it. It's the only scenario in which she lives. Please, put your hands up. Just walk away. She stares at you, frozen, the gun still in her mouth, eyes filled with dark intensity. Then something shifts in her. Gratitude, doubt. She's still ready to go. Her neck and shoulders relax and her grip on the gun loosens. You don't have to do this. You're not cornered. I'm letting you go. Dave Miracle, she says, pulling the gun out of her mouth, eyes still fixed on you. Then she turns her gaze to the tunnel behind you. I'll take it. She runs past you, then past the lieutenant, and disappears into the darkness of the tunnel. He runs past you, then... Oh, yeah, she's already said that. Good call. The lieutenant is still unsteady on his feet. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. He has to catch his breath. I would have done the same thing had I not been incapacitated. Yeah, I think she didn't do it. He looks around, then points at the back of the cavern. Her tent, we should check it out. That was fucking intense. Bloody Nora. Right, let's check out this bad boy. Now what we can do is put the audio back on because we haven't got that horrible static noise. Nice. Cooking utensils, she has prepared herself porridge with bananas. Health items. Dark water trails into the distance. There's no way out. Right, let's check the tent. The plain red tent stands by dispassionately. Look inside. The tent looks old but well maintained. In the darkness of the tent, a rolled up sleeping bag, cooking utensils, some books and kerosene lamp. It reeks of cigarettes. Shiny a flashlight. Assorted soft covers, mostly pulp horror. A motor and carriage lies buried in the snow on one cover. On another a ghost airship. You also see a collection of radio enthusiast magazines. The lieutenant peeks over your shoulder. See anything? Sift through. Rega Monthly, Journal of Material Science, more technological digest. One of the magazines doesn't have an image on the cover. It's not a magazine, it's a leather notebook. Get in, take it. You pocket the warm. I can't even speak, like I've been talking for so long. Actually, I just need to take 2 seconds. Yeah, I've been talking for so long, my eyes are like burning in my head. You pocket the worn brown leather journal. A trusted friend left behind. We should read this immediately, like right now. Let's do it. A thick journal. The cover is worn like someone used to carry it around in their back pocket. Examine the cover. It's made of full grain leather. The lower left corner on the back cover sports an embossed brand name. Schneider. This was important to her when it was still here. Unwind the strap. The journal falls open. About 2/3 of its ruled pages have been filled. Study the handwriting. The large cursive of someone who writes quickly and confidently. Perhaps too confidently. Many phrases and even paragraphs that have been crossed out, with tiny corrections scrawled above and in the margins. Flip through. It's a mix of logistical notes, diagrams and personal reflections, all dated. It's good she left in a hurry. We could learn a lot from this. What kind of logistics? Hard to tell exactly. It's mostly noted down in code. Looks like contact information, quantities, directions. There could be useful information about local operations in those notes. We have a junior sergeant at my station who's good with codes. I could give this to her after we finish this. What are the diagrams of? Esoteric radio technology. The most recent one probably pertained to the latitude compressor. Sketches, calculations of distance and density. You make out a familiar spiral shape. Anything personal? Short, wry observations of people and places. Probably a way to pass the time on the road. Also, what appear to be attempts to sort through some difficult decisions. There's a few passages with many questions in them. Staff issues. Always tough on the leadership. You smell traces of betrayal. How far back did these entries go? The first entry is from August the 2nd of last year. It reads simply, I know my position is precarious. All I can do is make myself as useful as I can while looking for a way out. Remember, no one is indispensable. What did she write the day Lily died? Nothing. On March 4th, March 5th though. Well, that's bound to come back and bite me in the ass. I'm bad at this. Loyal to a fault. Except. But that's another matter entirely. You have no idea what she means. These are personal notes, so don't expect to understand all of it. Anything about La Puta Madre? That name isn't mentioned so far as you can tell. What about the M? He points at the page you're staring at. Could this be La Puta Madre? Here, March the 9th and March the 15th. Read the entry. Great. M's peon is coming to town. I think that's right. No doubt to investigate the lynching, but also I feel it in my gut to finally put a bullet in my head. While I'm napping in my lorry or a smoke break, Well, I won't stick around just to twist my own neck by constantly looking over my shoulder. Then again, isn't that what I've been doing ever since I got the call? Were you supposed to find her, even apart from the investigation then? Or M's request? No, you wouldn't do something like this. This must be a mistake. You didn't follow through. You should have shot her in the head. This is a coincidence. I would never kill people for a mob boss. The thought steadies your nerves. The journal stops shaking in your hand. Read the entry from March 12th. Been holed up here for 3 days now. I'm used to being alone and all, but I don't know when I'll be able to leave, or if I'll be ratted out. They will rat me out, of course. I've made it a point to believe in the best in people. The boys, for example, but experience tells me. Did M feel truly betrayed by me? I was feeling threatened. He'd have to know if he threatened people. They'd make measures to protect themselves. Even I know that. Economic measures first of all. Gotta make a living, right? I can still hear his voice in the receiver. Taste the plastic. The entry ends abruptly. What's the most recent entry? The most recent entry is from today. Even when I leave here, if I leave here alive, what's my next move? Staging Elysium, a crime. Even if I'm not accused of murder on top of that, forever on the run, not really my idea of the open world. Man, I was really looking forward to winning. The lieutenant taps on the page. It looks like she might have been framed. That would be a first or fourth, but who's counting, he thinks. Very rarely does anyone actually get framed. If she didn't do it, then maybe it's good that we didn't catch her. I wouldn't go so far to say that. We have other reasons to arrest her. Am I really La Puta Madre agent? He looks you straight in the eye for a moment, then sighs. No, I don't think you are. Ask someone in your precinct if you want to be sure. Then who do you think killed the merc? Could have been Titus, then again, he pauses to think. But no one heard the shot. Maybe there's a hardy boy we've yet to meet who acted as his accomplice. Either way, we need to keep an eye on him. One thing's for certain, we have business back in Whirling in Rags. Questions to ask, we should get to it. That's right, that is definitely right. Fucking Whirling in Rags, them two police agents who are being arseholes to me. And also Titus and the Hardy Boys. Right, let's put my regular equipment back on. Police court. Got the gloves on. Volition, chest piece. My hat. There we go. I don't think I need that perception anymore. I'm actually going to put my snakeskin shoes. Done. I still don't think it's got anything to do with the Hardy Boys, if I'm honest. Just a gut feeling.